Hey guys, how's it going? Just coming into another video here. Yeah, twice in one night, huh? Um, Now if you're wondering what this video is going to be out, it's going to be about Super Megaforce. Um, Now that the camera that I normally use, now that's uh, it's working to where I want it to work again. I don't know how it happened, but it is what it is. I'm just doing this video here. Um, just the fact that it's doing what I want it to do again is, yeah. Um, So with that said, I'm just kind of pushing through some of my intended videos that I've wanted to do, but I haven't been able to do because I've been slightly hindered with my camera and all. But um, now that it's working, I guess I can do just that. But anyway, I'm doing my excuse me. I'm doing my overall review of Super Megaforce, and I guess in maybe no sense Megaforce as a whole. And my friend Samuel Spate, he wrote a few blogs on the topic of Megaforce and all that. So I'm going to be using those as kind of like a crutch to help me move along. So, um, so yeah. I guess with all that said, let's get started. Now, Super Megaforce, very complex series, more complex than it probably needed to be. It kind of picks up where uh, the first half left off, and then where they get their legendary powers, the suits from Gokaiger. Because the first half was using Ghostager. Um, because they decided to fuse together Ghostager and Gokaiger in the one big Power Ranger show, which I'll touch base on somewhere down the line. And of course, throughout the series, they kind of and do what Gokaiger did, use past powers and then bring in some veterans and all, and wear different suits from different teams and all, and of course all that jazz. Now, um, how do I personally feel about it? To be fair, in a lot of ways, it's incredibly lackluster, and that's very unfortunate. And being a fan since the beginning, it's yeah, sad for even for me to say as a fan, and I'm sure it's sad for a lot of fans to say that it was very lackluster, especially since it was supposed to be an anniversary series. But then again, past anniversary seasons were very unpopular too. So, but still, just some might say that this was a huge punch in the gut. So, um, let's see, where do I begin? I'm using Super Megaforce half of of Sam's blog. Now with start with characters. Um, Now I'm not going to say exactly what he said verbatim, but I think I'll just since he divided up into different sections, I think I'll start with that. Just like characters, stories, just yeah. Now characters, very very little character development, very little, if any at all. Because I do remember in a few episodes of the first half of Megaforce, they started not being ping centric, but ended being ping centric. And then, if any character at all, it was Robo Knight, got any kind of development. Super Megaforce character. Now, as far as the character is concerned, um, Orion Silver. He wore the Gokai Silver suit, Super Megaforce Silver. When they showed him, when I formally brought him out and said, "Hey, here's this new Ranger," he was actually given a bit of a backstory, saying that he's from a different planet called Andrasia, or I think that's how you pronounce it. And of course, this planet was destroyed, and he he had to fend for himself for a while, and he found a morpher, and his people were killed. And of course, he came to Earth, and then of course, ultimately revealed himself like here. I'm a Power Ranger. Um, um, he was the only one who actually get a decent backstory. With these, all the other characters like Troy, Gia, Jake, Noah, and Emma, they didn't really get much backstory. In fact, Gia did not get um, her own centric episode. She did not get an episode for herself. Noah got the Blue Ranger, who got two, each from like third episode, and he got his own episode for the first half of Megaforce, and then for Super Megaforce, same deal. He got his own episode, where both involved him having like a crisis of confidence episode, and had to better his skills and all. Now, some might say that's incredibly out of character for him. Uh, because he was established to be a nerd and not be a swordsman and all, but who knows? I don't know, just and Jake, how many episodes did he have? I think he may have had one or two or something like that. And like I said about Emma, she got certain episodes where Dan start. Emma's the Pink Ranger, by the way. Emma, she got certain episodes where it didn't start out as one of her episodes, but ended being one of her episodes. Troy, I know there was one episode in Super Megaforce where he got captured and they had to go out and rescue him and all that. So he was a major plot point in that episode. So, and Troy's the Red Ranger, by the way. And also, I mentioned Gia. She's yellow, a Yellow Ranger. And like I said, she didn't get her own episode at all, which sucks. So basically, the character development is very little, if any at all. And now with Gosei, their mentor, and his little assistant Tensu, they're supposed to represent Zordon and Alpha from MMPR. It's been said that they're incredibly useless. They don't really. I mean, I know they're meant to be a mentor, and yeah. They just that's always. If you watch the series, they don't really do too much, and then hell, like, for the first half of of Megaforce, when you were using Ghost Ager, he appeared in the first episode, and he didn't appear again. I don't think until Robo Knight, and that came around. And then, of course, he kind of appeared sparingly through that half and all. And then he was more prevalent in Super Megaforce, where he was handing out Ranger keys, from the used to become past Rangers. So he just really just gave them out and just did. I guess it's been said that really doesn't add too much. So, although to be fair, he will say, "Oh, I don't like Ghost Agent because he's just this big old tiki head." Give me a fucking break. That's a bullshit argument for not liking him because he's a tiki head. Now, you might have a case for how the series betrayed him, but picking on him because of what he is. I mean, we've had mentors of all shapes and sizes. Like, Zordon is a giant floating head in a jar. Oh, you don't hear people saying, "Oh, I don't like Zordon because floating head in the jar." saying that Gosei is a useless because he's a bad mentor because he's a big tiki head. Bull fucking shit. Don't tell me that. I ain't buying it. So I was saying that at least in the way in Gosei's defense. So just don't tell me that argument. So just what do I think of Gosei? I probably wouldn't call him best mentor, but they've been better. Um, um, no, writing. Um, I guess one could say they didn't really get tons better. You know, there. I guess a lot of the issues that probably plagued the first half of Megaforce probably more so than uh, in this one second half of Super Megaforce. And I guess before I'm using Sam's blog to help me out with my as a crutch, so I'm not reading exactly what he said word for word. So just bear that in mind. Um, I mean, there's just so many like logical gaps and everything, this, that, and the other. I mean, of course, sure it isn't Breaking Bad, meaning like Breaking Bad, or or any other fancy writing show or anything like that, but you would at least have something, have the writing make sense and not have them talk down to the audience. So yeah, like for example, it's been said that Jake, he's the Black Ranger, and then he later on becomes Green Ranger. So he uses both suits interchangeably. The Gosei black suit and the Gokai green suit. Um, it's been said that he's got a crush on Gia, but they don't take it very far. And one might say he's just being stalkerish. I don't know, but he does get a kiss, peck on the cheek from her in the end. But even so, they didn't do much with the crush. Just if they're gonna have a couple for the season, at least do something with it, not just do it for the sake of doing it and just blah. Um, just that's just probably one thing that just they could have done better on the writing. And if I'm not, if you've watched Super Mega Force, if you've watched Mega Force in its entirety, you should know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, then I can provide a link to all of Sam's blogs that he wrote concerning Super Megaforce, Megaforce as a whole, in the crotch bar below, so we can probably get a better understanding. If I'm being vague, that is. So let's move on here. Acting. Now, acting was considered to be a weak part, an incredibly weak part. Was thought to be very well. Well, I do know that with Samurai, the best actor of the bunch was it was considered to be Hector David Jr., who played Green, followed closely by uh, what's his name, Steven Skylar, who played Gold. And during the female Red arc, the actress Kimberly Crossman, she was considered to have been given off a decent performance. So, based on my understanding, I think Ciara Hanna, who played Gia Yellow, lovely woman, by the way. She is pretty hot. I'll give her that much. Of course, I'm not. I mean, and I'm sure she's pretty cool too. By the way, I'm just not trying to. But I guess it just, yeah, just lovely woman. By the way, she, I don't recall hearing people bitch about her performance, so she must have been doing something right. So good for her, by the way. Um, 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 Now I will even with what they were doing acting wise, I'll give I don't I will give them credit where it's due and all. That they're just doing what they were supposed to do, and they were doing their jobs, and just you know. But and I don't know if I can entirely fault them for giving off their performances. Regardless of how you feel about their acting, whether it was good, bad, whatever. They were just if they were legitimately trying. I'm not saying any of them are bad actors, by the way. I'm just saying I'm just giving them credit for what material they had to work with and just whatever else. So I'm sure they gave it all I got. So um, so I guess but however, Troy, the Red Ranger, um, he was considered to have been the worst of the bunch. People ragged on him to no fucking end. He was saying, "Oh, he's so emotionally robot. He's got no emotions. Robo Knight's got more emotion than he does." Basically, he was the weakest link of the bunch. Um, I guess in a way, it kind of felt bad for him. Just like people just rag on him, like, damn. And like, and people say he was a bland character. I mean, again, I know, all characters didn't. Not all the characters got the development like they should have been. But, um, but people say, oh, he's basically had this mentality of like, uh, he can't act, therefore the character sucks. And even if people try to uh, go more than just beyond that, um, yeah, still, I'm not sure if they actually mean it or I'm not sure if it's really authentic or just they're just going saying that about that really just mean or he can't act, therefore he sucks. But I don't know. I guess they were just brutal on the guy. Um, I mean, I'm not part of that crowd who says, "Oh, he can't act, therefore he sucks." Uh, well, I guess if he was legitimately trying, I will give him credit. And especially in the two-parter, Rock is back. Well, on part two, and there was one time where I actually noticed that he actually gave a damn good performance. He said, "Wow, that's not bad. Good for him." You know, and I had to wonder one thing though. The actor who played Orion Silver, his actor's name is Cameron Jibo. He's considered to have given off a pretty decent performance. Um, and I think, to my understanding, he tried out for the Red Ranger, but didn't get it. He eventually came back and became Silver. There have been people who've given this reaction like Cameron Jibo's a decent actor. How dare they pick Andrew Gray? Andrew Gray played Troy. He was actually the Red Ranger. People say just that. Like, how dare they pick Andrew Gray? Cameron Jibo is a decent actor. They should have picked him for the Red Ranger role. I mean, um, mind you, before they even brought Cameron Jibo into the role into the show, we had never. Well, most of the fans, I'm sure, probably had never heard his name before, and even more so, we had never seen Andrew Gray act before. So when people say, "Oh yeah, Cameron Jibo's a good actor," why did they pick Andrew Gray? It's like people were saying they already knew what Andrew Gray's acting was like before they actually saw him perform. How do you justify that? how do you determine whether or not someone is a good actor if you've never seen any of their performances before? That just baffles me to know it. Really, I don't see how you can justify that. Um, I mean, if you see him perform, both of them perform, then and then determine who you think is the better actor, then okay, yeah, and you could have done better this way, that way, or this role or that role. You don't just determine, oh, this person sucks. If you've never seen them perform before, especially if you've never heard their name before. I don't get that. You never, you've never seen Andrew Gray before perform before prior to being on Power Rangers. I bet. So don't tell me that shit. And saying that Cameron Jibo is a better actor. How dare they pick Andrew Gray? And mind you, I'm not bashing either. I'm not bashing either one of them. You know, I'm just saying. So, but just I don't see how you can justify that. So, all in all, I will give them credit where it's due that if they are actually tried, if they actually were trying to act, you know, despite what material they were given to work with, I mean, good for them, you know. But for the record, I am not part of the whole with Troy. He can't act, therefore he sucks. So, yeah. Um. Uh. I'm not sure really which is the best episode or the worst episode. Well, I mean, um, nice. Excuse me. I think the two-parter Silver Lining. I think that's what it's called. Where we meet Orion. And yeah, I don't hear too much complaints over that. I didn't hear too many complaints over that, so I must have done something right. So, worst episode, I don't think I really have a worst episode, personally. So, um, villains. How do I feel about the villains? Um, the first half of the villains were from Ghost Sager. Um, and I think it was just going to take over the world because we're evil, the villain, because the plot needs it. And then there's the Armada, who for the second half of Super Megaforce. Now, Principal Kara was the lead antagonist for the first half. I'm sorry, second half, Super Megaforce. In the first episode, I'm reading off of what Sam said. In the first episode of Super Megaforce, that he kind of had this intimidating regal tone to him. But after that, he became a whiny little brat. Which is kind of weird. And then there's another villain called Argus. He's supposed to be this big brute, and all. Apparently there's nothing much to him. And I guess I didn't have much reaction on call to them dying. I guess, and then Sam put it. He said, "Oh, that was the thing." So that could be potentially accurate to most people. That was the thing. So I don't know. I guess I didn't have any particularly emotional reaction to when any of the characters died. So just they died. So um, and then when Brock comes back, I don't think he did much either. And then they still built him up to be so big and important. Um, And of course, he has this game going on like Robo Knight. Um, having him the thing connected to the powers of the Rangers, the Power Rangers, they're connected to their powers and all, or something like that. And he's draining a. And that one thing that I don't think makes a ton of sense, he was draining. Orion got captured, and then started draining his life force. How does that disable the Super Mega mode? Because that's what the not the Gokaiger suit, or the Super Mega mode. Just all that doesn't make a ton of sense. And once again, Sam describes that, so I can read it in his blog if you haven't watched Super Megaforce. Now, here's one of the biggest things. Now, this is where I'm at now. I'm going on 26 minutes, by the way. It's going to be pretty damn long, this video. But anyway, one of the biggest things is the fact that they used the suits that came before Zyuranger. Zyuranger's the Super Sentai that gave birth to Power Rangers. And not only MMPR, but the whole franchise as a whole. Redundant much, that sentence? But yeah, I think that they had said that they weren't going to use any of the pre-Zyuranger suits. They're just going to use Zyuranger and afterward and beyond. Mighty Morphin and beyond. You know what I'm saying. But they used suits that came before Zyuranger, like Flash Man, Mask Man, Change Man. Why? What's up with that? I mean, if they were trying to plug Super Sentai, go check out Super Sentai. This is where Power Rangers came from. I'll give them credit for that, if that's what they were aiming for. But what purpose did it serve? Now, they even used Die Ranger, which was used for Mighty Morphin Season 2. When Tommy Oliver became the White Ranger, his suit was from Die Ranger. They've tried to use the Core 5 Zyuranger suits several times, but they didn't work out. But then they just kind of shoehorned it into Super Megaforce. Now, I guess one can at least give Die Ranger a pass because they came after Zyuranger. But, of course, it's been said that all those suits, pre-Zyuranger and Die Ranger, they were powers never before seen on Earth. I mean, they could have indeed expanded on the mythos of Power Rangers that aren't just shoehorning and then just give us half-ass explanation. I don't know. Well, like I said, I'll at least give Die Ranger a pass because it came after Zyuranger. Now, none of the Ice-Speed Rescue suits were used outside of the extended version of the finale. None of them were used, in which case I think only Blue was used. No. Now, some of these pre-Ranger suits actually got names, but but it's not much to them because we don't know anything about them or whatever. I guess in a way it was kind of lazy. I can agree with that. I'm going 29 minutes. This is my longest video to date. Longer than the last Super Megaforce video I did. Lots of gaps. I'm reading off Sam's blog here. And I'm popping the knuckles too. Now, I guess one logical gap is how does Robo Knight have a Ranger key? I mean, he's literally a robot. And he does not have a face, like human face right here, So, what the hell? It wasn't really introduced in that before, and so what made a difference this time. So um, half hour, my longest video here. So there's still a lot of other logical gaps that I'm just naming the yeah. Um, Now here's a huge kicker: legendary battle. If you've seen Gokaiger, there's that big legendary battle at the end, and then Super Megaforce got its own. It was pumped up to be this big, great thing, but then it fell flat on its face. Now, before I expand further on the legendary battle, I want to talk a little bit about the cameos. We've got 10 actors who came back. We've got Jane from Samurai, Mike and Emily from Samurai, Red, Green, and Yellow. Then we've got TJ and Cassie from Turbo and In Space. Blue and Pink for those series. And when they were in Turbo, there was TJ was red, and then when he became, and he went into Power Rangers in Space as the Blue Ranger, and Cassie got to be pink for both episodes, both series. And then there was Time Force Red, Lightspeed Red, and Lightspeed Pink. And then there's Tommy, legendary Tommy. They had to have used White Ranger powers. They indicated that a little bit, but didn't actually see him in a suit, but the White Ranger suit. But then he came back as the Green Ranger. Yeah. And so most of them had tribute episodes. So why not put most of the? And then there's Lost Galaxy Red, Lost Galaxy Green, and Lost Galaxy Pink. No, and Pink too, and played by Melody Perkins. There was 2 Lost Galaxy Pinks. There was Valerie Vernon and then there's Melody Perkins. It was Melody Perkins who came back. Why couldn't some of them have been used for their own tribute episodes, especially TJ, who was played by Selwyn Ward. Last time we saw him as a Power Ranger before this finale, and before Megaforce was Forever Red during Wild Force, where he was the Red Ranger. Now the Turbo powers were seen destroyed, but at least as far as we know, the red and blue powers are intact. Thanks to the character of Justin coming back for an episode of In Space, and there's TJ coming back for Forever Red. So because they were given spell morphers by Storm Blaster and Lightning Cruiser. So at least we know about at least the red and blue powers being intact. So for the Turbo tribute, why couldn't TJ have come back as the Red Ranger, and then later on at some point down the road we see him again as the Blue Ranger? We always see him strictly as the Blue Ranger. The cameos were incredibly underused. But yeah. And there was Jungle Fury Red that was brought back too. The only cameos that really were actually used to their potential were Jaden and Jungle Fury Red. That's it. Anyway, with the legendary battle, fell right flat on space. Now I guess Power Rangers that were there, the legendaries, it was good to see them again. So I guess in a way, as Sam put it, and these scenes that showed them, they actually felt like a Power Ranger show. It felt right flat on space. Sorry if I'm sounding redundant. I guess for one thing, they kind of killed the villains off pretty easily. And when the legendary Rangers came back, they kind of do a bit of a mopping job getting rid of all his X-Borgs and then the foot soldiers. Um, and then just if you've seen the Legendary War, yeah. Um, 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 just if you've seen the Legendary War, just yeah. Like I said, it was pumped up to be this big, great thing, but it felt right on space. But however, the actors who actually plugged the episode, I cut them some slack because I am sure they just wanted us to enjoy the episode and enjoy the fruits of their labor, and they meant well in my opinion. So I cut them some slack. However, I will say that I did enjoy the episode to some extent. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. But it still fell it came up short. So you know, and the extended um the extended version kind of did a little bit better, improved on it a little bit better, but still, it's better paced. I'll give it that, but just still. So, what are my overall thoughts on this series? I remember in my first review of Megaforce, I said I hope it maybe give it maybe a B plus, A minus, maybe at least a B minus. It deserves a D minus at the very least, in my opinion. And I'm being kind to the series. D minus. It had so much potential, but it didn't fully live up to it. Although in some cases I can't entirely fault it. I mean, in some cases it tried, but still, it just still fell very short. Um, there were so many things I could have done and probably should have done, but I know at least two of the actors, Cameron Jubo and Sierra Hanna, with Silver and Yellow, they were kind of the ones, at least on Twitter, saying this is how we feel. But you know, you know, it's saying something when your own actors criticize and say something. So, so I mean, let's put it this way: uh, as Sam put it, as flawed as seasons like Turbo and Operation Overdrive were, he believes that they at least felt like Power Rangers. Although some might say that Overdrive was very disrespectful to the fans of the franchise and all, because Overdrive is has an incredibly negative reaction to it. Yeah, so, but just I don't know. And some might even say that this whole series, Mega Force, was very disrespectful. I don't know if I'll go that far. I don't know if I'll go. But people say, oh, it's below preschool level. It's Masked Rider. The uh, franchise. It's like Operation Overdrive or whatever. I don't know if I'll go that far, but it is what it is. Take it or leave it, really. But just, yeah, but I guess I'll give it props where it's due. But it came up short. Like I said, I'm giving it a D minus, and I'm being kind to the series. I mean, and on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say maybe give it maybe 4 or 5, maybe at least 4. But well, I guess with all that said, I'm going on 40 minutes of my longest fucking video. So if you watched it up to this point, thank you for listening. I sincerely appreciate it. So with all that said, if you watch Super Megaforce, thanks for. Well, it is what it is, and with all that said, if you legitimately enjoy the series, and if you see something in it that others don't, more power to you. So I don't like it, I don't hate it, but it's not on my top tier of their seasons. So with all that said, it's just I'm gonna be sure to put Sam's blogs in the crotch bar below. So with all that said, 40 minutes worth, and just rate, comment, subscribe. And thank you for listening. Bye, guys.